Yes, you read that title correctly. This is a full-size Chevy Silverado 1500 with a 4-cylinder engine from the factory. This setup made its debut on the 2019 model year for the new 4th gen Silverado. Now, truck guys and conventional wisdom tells you that a 4-cylinder engine has no business being in a full-size truck. But is that really the case? Can a 4-cylinder engine work in a truck this big? Can it still do typical truck things? Is this a truck worth having? And more importantly, is it faster than a Corolla? Let's find out.
This is my 2019 Chevy Silverado 4-cylinder. I've had it about 2 years. There's 25,000 miles on it, and here we go. This is my 3rd Chevy Silverado. This is a 19. The one I had prior to this was a 14, and then I had a 2001. As far as body alone and front end, I definitely like the 2014 the best. The 2014 and the 2001, even though they were almost 15 years apart, they looked pretty similar. They're big, boxy, square, like more of a manly square body type. And this one's more, it's sleeker, it's like rounder. It looks more like a girl's truck than the other models. For someone who uses the bed a lot, I haul a lot of stuff. I have farm animals and livestock, so this is my favorite part of the bed. This step on either side. It's very, very convenient. As far as the rest of it, I think like the rounded cab and everything makes it look daintier than my other models that I had. I still like it, but it's definitely not as manly looking. It's not as cool looking as the other ones. I have definitely customized this truck in a way that matches me. I have these aftermarket rims, 33-inch tires. I added this antenna, the light bar. I have pink accents throughout the whole truck. So I did spend a lot more time on this truck customizing it as opposed to my other ones. So when I was looking at this vehicle, something I really, really liked that was like, man, I gotta have that in any vehicle that I have. I gotta have those. These rubber floor mats, they go together like puzzle pieces in the middle, and they completely protect the entire carpet. I took them out the other day, and my carpet looked brand new like the day it was made.
So, now Sarah and I are heading out to have a drag race. Everybody wants to know how fast a 4-cylinder Silverado is. So we're going to be racing it against my Corolla. This is a 4-cylinder, that's a 4-cylinder turbo. Let's see how they compare. Now, I really do think the Silverado is going to win, seeing as that's a 2.7 and this is a 1.6, and that's also turbocharged. But let's see what Sarah thinks.
Sarah, do you copy?
Copy.
So in your opinion, how fast or slow is that truck?
I would say that this truck is not built for speed, but it's not slow. Like it has a very quick takeoff. I feel like, in my opinion, for being a full-size truck, like it's got a little bit of get up and go.
Which one do you think is going to win between your Silverado and my Corolla?
I'm gonna say the Corolla because it's smaller and less weight. I don't know. My money's on the Corolla.
Gotcha. Well, I drove your truck earlier, and I actually do think that Silverado is going to take the Corolla.
Well, I don't have a lot of knowledge on your Corolla, so I guess I'm a little biased.
Well, my Corolla's only got 132 horses of fury, whereas your truck has 310.
True, but my truck is way bigger and way heavier.
Yep, this should be an interesting race. Okay, let's do a roll race right here.
Got you.
So I am now in sport mode, and let's see how this goes. Okay, 3, 2.
This sound right,
Yes, you were right. It does got a little more nuts.
Well, looks like it. Let's see if we can get another red light somewhere.
Alright, let's kind of hold back and stall and see if the people in front of us can like get through the yellow and then we'll stop at the red.
Okay, Sarah, I gotta tell you something.
Here comes Agnes.
I live my life.
A quarter mile at a time.
it sound right.
When the light turns green, floor it.
We're racing for pinks.
Yep.
Smoked 'em.
The thing that makes this a very unique truck is the 4-cylinder engine. So come over here. So this engine right here is a 2.7 turbo. This engine makes 310 horsepower and 348 pound-feet of torque. This is also made it to an 8-speed transmission. So I know a lot of people are going to gripe because, oh, it doesn't have a V8, but I gotta say, you saw the drag race. This doesn't do too bad. 0 to 60 times on these 4-cylinder Silverados is a claimed 7.1 seconds, which really isn't bad at all. So now, with this being a full-size truck with a 4-cylinder engine, forced induction is pretty much a necessity. So this is turbocharged. Now the thing that's pretty nice about this truck is it has plenty of turbo sounds. So the JDM people are gonna like how you can hear the turbo and the blow-off valve, which I'm gonna have Sarah demonstrate right now. Go ahead, Sarah, rev it. Yeah, do it again. Yes, very, very nice.
Given that this is a larger vehicle, you wouldn't buy it with the expectation of getting 30 miles per gallon. But I do have a 3-inch lift, I have 33-inch tires, and I get 16 miles per gallon city and about 20 highway. So it's really not that bad overall.
Driving this truck is actually quite nice. This drives a lot more similar to a car than older trucks. One of the things Sarah and I both agree with is there is no play in the steering wheel. Where you steer is exactly where you go. In the older big trucks and SUVs, that wasn't the case. One thing that isn't the greatest is the ride quality with nothing in the bed. As you can see, Sarah and I are bouncing around a little bit in this truck. But overall, I gotta say, the driving experience in this truck is really quite nice. What do you think, Sarah?
I think that for being a truck, in comparison to people I know who also have large vehicles, the drive is really quiet.
Yeah,
like
it is.
you don't hear, and I have larger tires. You don't hear the road, the tires. You don't hear every bump or feel every bump. Like it rides very nicely, very smooth.
Well, hold on. We do feel every bump.
I don't. Maybe I don't.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I was saying that I can drive this, like I said, one hand, like two hands down here. Like it's a smooth, easy drive. There's no like play in the steering wheel. So even though even with the aftermarket tires, it doesn't really change much from the stock ones that the truck came with. The leveling kit, the 33-inch tires, it doesn't feel all that different from the way that it rolled off the showroom floor, So for this week's video, I am taking John to a Chinese bistro called Jeng Chi in Fort Worth, Texas. If you've ever seen the movie Kung Fu Panda, he eats these little round things called pork dumplings, and they're usually filled with like meat and juices, and they're delicious. It sounds not that great, but it really is. They have pork belly, they have pork dumplings, they're like a Chinese food restaurant, but much, much better. And I'm really excited because I'm a total foodie and I like to eat. So I'm excited to see if John likes it. We're at Jeng Chi in Richardson, Texas. We're in Richardson, Texas, and this is a very nice establishment. Probably a little nicer than I should belong in, but I'm really excited.
Sarah, what'd you get?
I got chicken fried noodles,
Oh man,
egg drop soup.
that stuff is good.
These are just our appetizers.
Yep.
It's not the reason I came here.
Nope. And I got some chicken fried rice. Can never go wrong, chicken fried rice. Sarah has the dumpling.
Juicy.
Oh man, here we go. There we go.
Really hot. This is how I eat them. Right off the top until there's an opening. Take soy sauce and you get
Hold on.
it. Easy hold.
Camera decided to do its own thing. Was it?
So the way I eat this is I bite off the top until there's an opening, and then I dump soy sauce inside the opening. For the sake of argument, say that went in the opening.
Bum bum bum. Was heaven? Heaven on earth. So good. I'm gonna try one in a minute. It's hot though, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. So, something you might not know about me is I am incredibly uncultured. I have never in my life, which I'm 31, had dumplings ever. So, we have dumplings. So,
Juicy pork dumplings.
indeed. So, let's see what we got going on here. So, Sarah recommended me to bite the top off first and then pour soy sauce in it. So, hopefully these have cooled down a little bit. So I'm gonna try it. Is a fork necessary or can I just hold this? What?
I usually use a spoon like this. This one.
Oh, there's a spoon here for. There's a spoon here. Oh shit. Okay. See, I don't know these things. Oh my god.
It's okay, John. I will teach you the ways of the fatties.
I'm very clumsy. Shit. Okay. Hand me that soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
Thank you. So, I also don't have depth perception, so this is difficult.
You got more in there than I did. It was like all in the spoon.
Okay. Down half she goes.
Here goes nothing. It's a lot. It's a lot of flavors, a lot of textures.
Not bad. It's pretty salty. Is that from the soy sauce?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I didn't see how much in there,
Oh.
but judging by your spoon,
There's a little bit of soy sauce in there. Next one, maybe not so much soy sauce. Yeah, pretty good. Good suggestion, Sarah. All right, so we just got done eating at
Jeng Chi.
Yep, and I gotta say it was pretty good. I'm not a very cultured person, as I said before, but it was really good food, and I had dumplings for the first time. Sarah, what'd you order?
I ordered hibiscus lemonade, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
I got egg drop soup. I got a green onion pancake, which sounds much better than it is.
Yeah.
I got chicken fried noodles, which is like chicken fried rice, but instead of rice, they use soy bun noodles. And I got pork and crab dumplings.
Yep, and then I got chicken fried rice because, you know, I'm basic. And then I also got dumplings for the first time. And I gotta say, the dumplings were very interesting. I definitely liked the taste. The texture was a little bit odd for me, but Sarah's noodles that she got, those were way better than my chicken fried rice. But the chicken fried rice wasn't bad by any means.
I just realized when you were talking how many things I named off that I ordered, and you're like, I got 2 things. I'm like, oh no. Worth it.
Yep, it was pretty good.
Worth it. Worth it. Every calorie.
Every calorie counts. Yep, good stuff. Okay, we'll talk to you later. This whole truck is super nice. Nothing in here feels too cheap, even though there are a lot of plastics like this. The touch points that you're actually going to interact with are really quite nice. The center console right here is nice and padded leather. Over here on the doors, once again, we got padded leather. Here, this plastic is cheap, but it feels and it looks really nice. The door handles are big and macho and beefy. The air vents are really nice to deal with. And then come over here and look at these switches. All these switches are just super nice, and they have a really nice pressing. And this is a super cool button. It rolled all the windows down, which is amazing. If we look over here at the steering wheel really quick, all of these buttons are at the touch of your thumb. So Sarah, put your other hand down there and just like, where would you normally have your hand placed on the steering wheel?
So I know this is probably frowned upon, but I am a one-hand 12 o'clock driver. Usually my elbow's right here.
Well, anyways, when you're driving how you're supposed to, all these buttons on the steering wheel are right at your thumb's reach, which is really nice. And also the center console, or this right here, isn't too far away. When we have the buttons and knobs over here, all these knobs are super chonky. They all feel really nice. When you push these buttons, you get a nice button to push, unlike the haptic feedback so many are going to. Personally, I absolutely hate haptic feedback. I don't know why people are doing it. I like the buttons because you know that you pressed a button. What they try to do with haptic feedback is make the surface vibrate when you push a button, but I hate it. You still don't know. When I'm pushing one of these buttons, I know when I've gone too far. So this just makes everything so much easier to use.
So I agree with John. I do not like cars that have a touch screen center console. It's really hard, and when you're in traffic and you're trying to turn it down or whatever, and it's like tap, 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 you're like, did I get it? Did I get it? It's not going down fast enough. I like that I can just like hit the button, mute. That's it. I know I hit it. It says volume muted. If I don't want to touch the screen at all, behind the steering wheel back here, there's volume on the right and then skip forward and back on the left. So if I don't want to touch the screen at all, I can mute, I can skip forward, backward, turn volume up, volume down. I have every accessibility on here that I would have as far as the radio on the screen. So I hate to beat a dead horse, but being a mom, I'm always considering things I like and I dislike when it comes to room, space, regarding my kids. So I love that this is not a permanent center console. You can lift it up. There's no button to lift it. Once it's all the way up, it's locked. You cannot unlock it unless you pull this. So it can't just fly forward, but you can put another kid right here if my dog's with me, you know, if there's luggage or whatever in the back seat. And then under this is more storage, which is, you know, can't go wrong with more. So this is the double cab. It's pretty much middle of the road, medium. It's not really big. It's not small. I'm not a large person. So, you know, I have like good foot space. You know, I have room. It's not super cramped, super tight. There are a lot of trucks that are a lot bigger in the back seat, but it's definitely not bad. And then back here, I have a 12-volt charger and 2 USB ports, which is an absolute necessity for road trips. Everyone has a phone, everyone has a tablet. Everything can charge at one time. There's 5 people in my family, and there are enough charging ports and enough docks in this truck to charge everyone's devices at once.
So Sarah, how is the visibility in this truck?
Well, you're up high, so it's good in that way. But the pillars in the back corners of the back seat, the blind spots are pretty bad. I mean, it's expected. But the left mirror has the blind spot mirror on it, which I use all the time. If you just use that mirror, look over your shoulder, you're up high enough that you should see anybody or anything around you.
Yeah, so when I was driving it, I like that the driver's side does have the blind spot mirror, but what I didn't like is the passenger side does not. And I think the passenger side needs it more than the driver's side. This truck sits so high up that I feel like if there's somebody driving next to me in like a lowered Miata, I would not be able to see them. And that makes me really nervous, especially taking into consideration this truck doesn't have blind spot monitoring, but we will get into that later. The safety tech on this truck, even being a 2019, is definitely nothing to write home about. And I really don't understand how this can be a 2019 and be so ill-equipped. So we've got the standard things you would expect: traction control, 4-wheel ABS, but that's it. On something this big, blind spot monitoring should be standard. This is such a big vehicle and you have huge blind spots. Why not throw the sensors on there? It costs what, $200 to add it to the car? And then there's no lane departure warning. Again, this is a big vehicle. You could be drifting out of a lane and not know it, especially if you're an inexperienced driver. And then there's no collision mitigation. I mean, if you're about to crash, even my Corolla is going to tell you, hey, you're about to hit something. And this truck doesn't tell you. And this is a big vehicle, guys. This is a 5,000-6,000 pound truck. And you can just drive into somebody without ever knowing it. No adaptive cruise control. I mean, these aren't expensive things now. Why weren't these things available as standard on a 2019 full-size Silverado like they were in 2017 on a Corolla? That just doesn't make any sense to me. One safety feature this truck does have is what's called Teen Driver. And so this is a system that you set up in your head unit for people who are either new drivers or who you don't trust driving your vehicle. What this system does is, one, it will give you an option called buckle to drive. So if you don't buckle your seatbelt, the car won't move. The second thing is, if you don't buckle your seatbelt, the stereo won't play any sound. The third thing you can do is you can set a governor or a speed limiter. So if you only want your vehicle to drive a certain speed, let's say 85 miles an hour, you can set that in there. What it will also do is give you reports of how the driver that you want is driving. It'll tell you how harshly they accelerate, how harshly they brake, and things of that nature. So that can help a lot with new drivers, but if it's a new driver, like I said earlier, how are they going to know how wide the vehicle is with no lane departure warning? I mean, all that stuff is great, but it's not the full package that you really need, at least in my opinion.
As the stereo is concerned, I feel like it puts out really good sound, and the bass is not bad for a stock stereo.
I would have to agree with you. So stereos are one of my pet peeves, and it's not hard to make a car with a stereo that's total garbage. Even if you have a subwoofer, it doesn't make the stereo nice. The nice thing about this stereo is that the sound is very balanced, especially after you set the equalizer. I was very impressed with both the response and the tone quality that comes out of the speakers. So now, Sarah and Matt have a Jeep with a decently aftermarket stereo, but because of the way a Jeep is constructed, that stereo sounds like garbage. This one, even though it's stock and doesn't have a subwoofer, the whole thing works together really well.
So like a lot of modern vehicles, this system comes standard with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It comes with, FM, AM radio. One thing I did notice is that it no longer comes with the ability to have Sirius XM. I had Sirius in my old truck. I got this truck, went to go transfer it over. They said, we do not have that in this system anymore. The only way you can use Sirius is if you have the app on your phone and connect to Android or Apple CarPlay. Obviously, I like this truck a lot. I've had it for 2 years. I don't really have any plans to get rid of it. I like that it's very family friendly, has Wi-Fi capability, it has a lot of chargers, a lot of ports, it has an option for a stick seat that you don't have to use if you don't want to. No, overall, I'm a fan. 10 out of 10.
The things that I like the most about this truck is, first of all, the design. This front end, especially with the light bar up here, just looks so mean. Like when you get at the right angle, the truck just looks fierce, which is a good word for a woman's truck. Right, Sarah? And the second thing that I really like, actually, is the engine. This 4-cylinder in this truck, it just works. You get way better fuel economy with this than you would with the V8. And honestly, unless you're pulling something ridiculously heavy, I don't think it makes a difference. To be honest with you, I can't think of any downside. Plus, the LED headlights are just awesome. Now, as far as the things I don't like, are the things I talked about before. The lack of safety features, the giant blind spots. Those things should have been accounted for on a vehicle that costs over $40,000. And why they weren't, I don't know. But overall, I think Chevy hit it out of the park. Thanks for watching our video on this 2019 Silverado. Now don't forget, we also have an OnlyFans and a Patreon. Our Patreon is only $1 to join, and the OnlyFans is free if you guys want to help support the channel. Also, please like and subscribe. Other than that, now I'll see you later.